민주화 공산으로 갈리면서 6.25 동란이 일어났습니다. 어떻게 세계에 알려지지 않은 작은 나라의 동란에 유엔의 16개국이 참전할 수 있었을까요? 그들이 소원했던 것도 통일 한국이었습니다.
I would like to express my sincere appreciation and congratulations on the successful launch of the Think Tank 2022, where 2022 eminent leaders have gathered from around the world to show their support for the establishment of Heavenly United Korea.
After having been one land and one people, Korea is now divided surrounding the Korean Peninsula. Powerful nations struggle, vying for supremacy. While the North Korean nuclear threat worsens, for Korea to optimize its potential as a global player, it is essential that Korea becomes one. Then what is the new vision that we need in order to have permanent peace and co-prosperity that everyone would benefit from? Let's find a new way, a way now for the two Koreas to truly become one. That journey towards hope begins now with people from all over the world. Pride and self-righteousness, lies and greed. History is the endless reoccurrence of strife and conflict, a long record of humanity's ugly side. And the most extreme problems that arise from these threaten the survival of our planet and of humanity. Korea is one of the only remaining divided nations in the world, and for the past 70 years the Koreas have been unable to reconcile. Both sides are scared and they face each other across the dividing line of ideology. Barriers separating the North and the South have been firmly embedded for a long time. So what will it take to break this ideological barrier? Father and Mother Moon awakened us to the knowledge that only one new philosophy of peace and a new peaceful regime will make a difference. And for more than 50 years, I have devoted my whole heart to building the foundation for the reunification of Korea based on God-centered head-wing ideology and movement, both in my home country and abroad. So let us together establish and stand for a God-centered, heaven-centered value system for our people based on true love. A prosperous, interdependent economy, a political system based on mutual prosperity, a vision of peace supported by universal values. Let's practice these three visions together with Godism, the head-wing thought, unification thought, and create a foundation on a worldwide level for the reunification of the two Koreas. In the pursuit of hope in this era, world leaders and intellectuals from all over the world come together with one voice and discuss the path toward peace. Religious, cultural and political leaders worldwide from all races and backgrounds were reminded that we are one family under God and that the only means to bring down the walls humanity has erected is through broad efforts to restore true family values and to help energize the UN as advocated by the Universal Peace Federation. Mother Moon held the World Summit, an international leaders assembly with leaders from around the world gathering wisdom focused on humankind's future.
한반도를 평화 통일의
for the
길,
divided country in the world to move ahead on to the road to peaceful reunification. And this part of the world where power struggles continue, the United Koreas could lead the way with a vision for peace toward the creation of a heavenly unified Asia and a Pacific civilization. Peace is meant for everyone, but creating a sustainable environment cannot be achieved by one country, one power, one individual, or one group. So together, Father and Mother Moon have led us through the creation of various global foundations such as the International Summit Council for Peace, the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, the International Association for Peace and Economic Development, the International Media Association for Peace, the International Association of Academics for Peace, and the International Association of Arts and Culture for Peace. And to date, more than 1.3 billion people from in 194 countries have been able to participate in the Rally of Hope series. And through the 6 rallies of hope, we'll be able to overcome all the crises that we're facing worldwide by putting together our heads together. So we're creating hope for peace by drafting specific detailed policies to lay the foundation for Heavenly Unified Korea. Attending Heavenly Parent is the only path to the reunification of the two Koreas. I earnestly hope and give my blessings that during this time today, you can teach all nations of the world and their citizens to live with God as their Heavenly Parent.
교육하는 오늘 이 시간이 되기를 간절히 소원하며 축복하는 바입니다.
한반도 평화 통일과
The Rally of
평화
Hope
세계 실현이라는
for the launch of
주제로
Think Tank 2022
신통일
support
한국을 위한
permanent, peaceful
싱크탱크
reconciliation of the
2022
Korean
출범
Peninsula
희망전쟁제.
and world peace.
더 이상의 전쟁과
May there be
갈등이
no more
존재하지 않는
wars and conflicts. We're taking the first steps toward a heavenly unified Korea and permanent peace in the world.
한반도 남과
Going
북의 모든 세대를
beyond the
넘어서
two Koreas, people of a variety of ages and of a political and religious
외교,
backgrounds
안보 등 각 분야
participated.
최고의 전문가
And we have brought
2022
together
명이 함께하며
2022 high-level professionals from various fields who are united by this common desire to see a heavenly unified Korea.
And congratulations on the successful launch of the Think Tank 2022, where 2022 eminent leaders have gathered from around the world to show their support for the establishment of heavenly united Korea beyond permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula.
통일 한국을 염원하는 국내의 지도자들과
South Korean leaders and leaders from around the world who share the common desire and hope to see a unified Korea share their wisdom on creating a heavenly unified Korea through their keynote
She has devoted her
addresses.
life's work to see an enduring and peaceful reconciliation between North and South Korea. I'm sure that's a vision shared by many.
I know there are now good efforts in that direction. For instance, like Think Tank 2022, that unites experts from all over the world, from so many disciplines, thinking about new ideas, new processes to achieve precisely that peaceful reconciliation.
전 세계 지식인들은
The Think
싱크탱크
Tank 2022 brings together intellectuals and experts from a wide range of fields, connecting us to a new future.
지구촌 지식인의 연대체
Think Tank 2022 is a global network of experts in all sectors and fields.
평화 포럼으로 이어져
Through the Think Tank 2022 forum, we are expanding and spreading Heavenly Unified Korea's vision of peace widely.
남북이 하나 되지 못한 자리에서
Though the two Koreas are still divided, we dream
통일 한국의
of a heavenly unified
꿈을 꾸고 있습니다.
Korea.
그
And this
꿈은
dream
반드시
will absolutely
이루어집니다.
come true.
지구촌 5색
The vision of hope for a better tomorrow is bringing together people of all races. And now humanity is clearing up its sad history and creating a new history of joy and happiness.
신통일
a
한국.
heavenly unified Korea,
이 새로운
to
미래를
create
위해
this bright new future. Peace-loving citizens from all around the world are combining their wisdom. Today we're all sharing the love we have for each other.
평화의
And the
새 시대를
dream
향한
of a new
준비가
era of
멈춰지는
peace shall come
계속될
true.
것입니다. 7차 신통일 한국을 위한 싱크탱크
The
2022
7th Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for a Heavenly Unified Korea. We begin the countdown.
전 세계 14만 명이 함께하며
A rally where 1.3 billion people
종식을 위한
have 1.3 people have
새로운
attended,
희망의 메시지를 전합니다.
conveying a new message of hope
한반도의 통일과 세계
for the
평화를
unification
향한
of Korea
지속
and
가능한
world peace,
아젠다.
for sustainable agendas,
공영,
for
공의,
interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values,
신통일 한국,
a heavenly unified Korea,
신통일 세계를
and a
위한
heavenly unified world,
신아시아 태평양
and for a
문명과
heavenly Asia
안착의
Pacific
초석,
civilization, laying the
싱크탱크
foundation for
2022.
it through Think Tank 2022.
Respected Excellencies, beloved peace-loving global leaders and citizens, my name is Yoon Young-ho, the chairman of the organizing committee for today's rally. I'll be your MC for today's history, Think Tank 2022, Rally of Hope for the realization of heavenly unified Korea. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you so much for attending today's rally. First of all, I would like to begin by welcoming you all to this rally. Today's rally commemorates the ninth anniversary of the Holy Ascension of UPF's founder, Reverend Sun Myung-moon. Over 2 million peace-loving leaders and citizens from 194 nations around the world are joined here live at the Cheongsin Peace World Center from Korea, Japan, USA, Asia Pacific, Europe, Africa, and Latin America. Furthermore, more than 500 million peace-loving leaders and citizens around the world are also watching today's event through various national broadcasts and platforms in all regions of the world. I would like to welcome once again everyone attending today's Rally of Hope. Let us give a big round of applause for everyone. Thank you. 환영합니다.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. 관계 이타시마스.
Welcome.
Bienvenidos. Bienvenida.欢迎. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to be a challenge for all cities around the world. Today's world is characterized by despair more than hope, suffering more than happiness, conflict and discord more than harmony. The last 6 rallies of hope provided the world with the hope of our lasting world of peace, a world of one family under God. Over 12 million global citizens directly attended the 6 rallies, and in each rally, more than 450 broadcasters and national televisions covered the event. In total, more than 3 billion people participated in the rallies of hope. The last 6 rallies of hope were truly amazing. I believe that the reason these 6 rallies could provide new hope to the whole world in these difficult times is because of humanity's firm desire and hope to realize lasting peace together under the umbrella of Heavenly Parents' holy community. Today's rally is the first rally taking place for the Heavenly Unified Korea, centering on the sixth organization of Think Tank 2022, launched on May 9 ISCP, IAPP, IAPD, IAED, IMAP, and IAAP. Today's rally will become a precious cornerstone for the Heavenly Unified Korea, which is absolutely necessary to realize a heavenly unified world. Especially the launch of the organizing committee for the historic summit on peace in the Korean Peninsula will also take place during today's rally. Once again, I would like to sincerely welcome all of the head of state, peace-loving leaders and citizens from around the world. Furthermore, let us give a big round of applause to show our gratitude to the host of today's rally, Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon. Today's Rally of Hope is taking place in Korea, and from now on, the event will be hosted in Korea. Translation is provided in 12 languages. Please select your preferred language. 존경하는 각국 정상, 그리고
Excellencies
우리
and
내외 기빈,
distinguished
그리고
guests,
신통이라는 것을
leaders,
위한 싱크탱크
and
2022에
experts from all
함께하고
walks
계신
of
각계
life who have come
전문가
here,
및 지도자 여러분,
who are here together with us for Think
사랑하는
Tank
평화의
2022
여러분,
for the unification of
지금 전
Korea
세계는
and peace-loving
작년
citizens.
1월부터
Since the
본격적으로
outbreak of the
시작된
pandemic
코로나
last
바이러스
January,
팬데믹을
the world has
정치,
experienced serious
경제,
damage in all
보건,
facets of
복지 등
society,
전
including
만인적 분야에
politics, economy,
심각한
health,
피해를 초래하고
and
있습니다.
welfare. And
특별히
one more
이러한
problem
세계
actually
위기,
stemming from this
이러한
critical
시기에
time
국가 이기주의에 기반한
are the
자기
policies
국가와
and the
자기
trend based
국민을 우선시하는
on
정책과
nationalistic
풍조로
egoism that
세계를
prioritize
화합과
the
상생보다는
interest of one's
분열과
country and
갈등으로
people, which is
점철된
leading now to a
세계로
world
향하게 하고
that
있습니다.
is characterized
이런
by
이유에서
conflict
평화의
and
어머니
division
한학자
rather than harmony
총재님께서는
and mutual prosperity.
공생,
And thus,
공영,
Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon, the
공의가
mother of
실현된
peace,
항구적
has
평화
advocated
세계의
for the
실현을
establishment of a
강조하시며
world in which all live in
수십 억 명이
interdependence,
함께하는
mutual
6번의
prosperity, and universal
희망
values.
전진대회를
And she has hosted
성공리에
6 rallies of hope that has
그리고
been watched by
코로나뿐만 아니라
billions of people.
다양한
And Dr.
원인들을
Hak
통해
Ja-han Moon
촉발된
explains
분열과
that God
갈등으로
is our
점철된
heavenly parent.
인간
She
불행
proposes
역사를
a peace vision
근본적으로
for ending
종결 짓는
divisions and
해법을
conflicts in human
인류의
history
근본
that have
부모
resulted
되신
from the number of causes
하나님을
like the
하늘
COVID
부모님으로
pandemic.
모시고
The vision states that we
하늘
can
부모님
only
아래
fundamentally
인류
solve
한
problems that
가족의
plague mankind
신통의
when we
세계가
realize
실현될 수 있게
one
하나님을
big family of
구하시네.
humanity with God as a heavenly parent. In other words, a heavenly
나아가 이러한
unified
신통의
world.
세계 한
So for
척을
heavenly
위해서는
unified
선결
world to be
조건으로
realized, Dr. Hak
전
Ja-han Moon
세계 유일한
stresses
국가인
that the Korean
한반도의
Peninsula, which is the only divided
나아가
country in the world,
신통이라는
must
걸
be brought to
강조하시며
peace and must become a
패권과
heavenly unified
치열하게
Korea for the
벌어지고
world to
있는
also become one.
한반도를
So
위시한
additionally, Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon promotes a peace vision in the
부모님을
Pacific
모시는
Rim where
신아시아
world
태평양
powers currently are
문명권을
competing
강조하시는
for supremacy
평화
with a
비전을
particular
선도하고
focus on the
계십니다.
Korean
특별히
Peninsula. So
지난
she's
5월 9일에는
emphasizing the need to establish
전
a
세계
heavenly
17년
civilization in the Pacific Rim
488개
where there can be a harmonious coexistence with God as our
생방송을
heavenly parent. And there were actually 1.7 billion viewers worldwide who tuned into the 483 state-run and private broadcasters to watch the launch of the Think Tank 2022 live on May 9, 2021. So this was possible on the cornerstones of the UPF associations founded by Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon in 2016, organizations that have grown worldwide ever since, and they're mainly the ISC, the International Summit Council for Peace, the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, International Association for Peace and Development, International Association for Peace and Economic Development, International Media Association for Peace, etc. So Think Tank 22 gathered 2022 of the best experts in every field, 1,011 from around the world and 1,011 from Korea. And ladies and gentlemen, today is a historic day that marks actually the first Rally of Hope has hosted centered on Think Tank 2022. So today, Korean leaders and heads of states will be giving these awesome speeches and heart-moving, deep speeches for the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. So the vision and policies for heavenly unified Korea, which will be unveiled at today's rally, will be linked to the Think Tank 2022 Forum series in the future to develop very specific policies. Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State for the United States, will be the keynote speaker of the first Think Tank 2022 Forum on September 18th. So experts from Korea, Japan, and the United States will be attending, and they will discuss as well as answer questions from the public. And then we'll have former Vice President Mike Pence, who will be the keynote speaker at the next forum, which will be on politics. And afterwards, we'll have former U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who will speak at a forum on defense security. There will also be an economics forum featuring one of the world's 3 largest investors, Jim Rogers, and a former UN World Food Program Director, Secretary Director Davis Beasley. So the forum will be conducted based on 10 fields and will explore ways to make Korea a heavenly unified Korea. Excellencies, peace-loving leaders and citizens. This year actually marks 30 years since Reverend Sun Myung-moon and Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon met with Kim Il-sung to open the door for reunification in the Korean peninsula, which had been divided since the Korean War. So Korea stands now at a crossroads today more than ever before. So as the United States, China, Russia, and Japan fight for supremacy over the Korean peninsula, tensions between the South and the North are at an all-time high. So to fulfill the providential mandate to create a heavenly unified Korea, in light of this reality, Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon, the Mother of Peace and the Mother of Unification, is preparing to host the Korean Peninsula Peace Summit. This will be an unprecedented summit that will bring together leaders of North Korea and South Korea, as well as heads of states of 160 or so countries that have diplomatic relations with the two Koreas. And with the True Family Movement of FFWPU and the Head Wing Movement of UPF, the two worldwide organizations founded by Reverend and Mrs. Moon, Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon hopes to draw a new peace map of the Korean Peninsula with experts of Think Tank 2022. And today, at this Rally of Hope, we will launch the organizing committee for the Korean Peninsula Peace Summit in the presence of key leaders representing Think Tank 2022 and the International Summit Council for Peace, among others. So the historic Korean Peninsula Peace Summit will also be seeing the launch of the Asia-Pacific Union promoted by Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon. Everyone, by 2022, Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon hopes to lay a cornerstone that will seal up the scars left by the Korean War and create a heavenly Asia-Pacific civilization for the realization of a heavenly unified world. So everyone, let us give Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon, the Mother of Peace and Unity, a warm round of applause. So, with thunderous applause, everyone, let us begin the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for Heavenly Unified Korea.
It is now time to have the peace offering.
The peace offering will proceed in the order of an interfaith water ceremony and the reading of a declaration to heaven. In today's peace offering, representatives of 7 religious groups each from Korea, Japan, and the United States will pray for the realization of a heavily unified Korea on behalf of religious groups around the world. First, the 7 religious representatives from the U.S. will enter. We have Dr. Luan Rouse, National Co-Chair of the American Clergy Leadership Conference, Dr. Tanya Edwards, Senior Pastor of the Pentecostals of Philadelphia Church, Reverend Monsignor Oscar Aquino, and Imam Muhammad Shahidullah, Professor of the Islamic History, and Swamiji Parameshanada of the Bharat Sevaskham Sangha, representing Hinduism, and Abbot Mahatwain Pukao, President representing Buddhism, and as well as Dr. Kim Gi-hoon, Chairman of the Steering Committee of the World Christian Leadership Conference. Next, we'll have the 7 religious representatives from Japan enter. We have Reverend Tokushu Murray, Chief representing Shinto, Reverend Taisha Nara representing Shinto, Venerable Waka Higashi representing Buddhism, Reverend Toru Miyahara representing Christianity, Dr. Yoshio Kawakami representing Christianity, and Mr. Humayun Amuga representing Islam, and Reverend Bangsami representing FFWPU. And now, the 7 religious priests from Korea will enter. We have Chairman Kang Hee-won representing Sang-Kyu-kwan, Chairman Choi Young-il representing Islam in Korea, and Pastor Choi Jong-pa representing Protestantism, and Mong Chin-won representing Buddhism, Chairman Lim Bu-hui representing the Korea Religion Association of Women, and Joint Chairperson Shin Hye-won representing Chon Do-kyo, and Lee Gi-sung, Director of Chon Sim-won representing FFWPU. First, we will have the interfaith water ceremony. So all representatives from Korea, Japan, and the U.S. will please combine your waters after I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Combine your waters. It is now time to read our declaration to heaven, and the declaration to heaven will be read by Kim Gi-hoon, Chairman of WCLC. Declaration to Heaven. Our most loving and noble Heavenly Parent, on this day, I wish to report to you that thanks to the blessing of our Heavenly Parent and the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope is being held in grand style at the Chongshim Peace World Center here in Korea under the leadership of True Mother, the only begotten daughter, in the presence of millions of you beloved sons and daughters, as well as global leaders in all parts of the world. Our dear Heavenly Parent, looking down upon us and our true parents, you have led the way in completing heaven's 6,000-year-long providence and ultimately achieved a great victory in the historical course of restitution. You have always been with us whenever we face difficulties. And during the last 2 years, we have lost our way and wandered around in the chaos and anguish caused by the coronavirus pandemic, natural disasters, and war. And at such a time, time, through the Rally of Hope hosted by True Mother, you have bestowed new hope, new happiness, new harmony, and true love to all nations and all peoples, and made the new dream of a Heavenly Parent and the heartfelt desire of all people come true. So for this we return infinite gratitude and glory to you. You gave us the conviction that everything is possible when we march forward one in heart with True Mother in the service of our Heavenly Parent. So today's event, the 7th Rally of Hope, is all the more meaningful in that it marks the participation of all global citizens in the actual activities of Think Tank 2022, set in motion by 2020 experts of the highest caliber from every field of endeavor and from all over the world, who are combining their knowledge to realize the heavenly unified Korea and a heavenly unified world. Our Heavenly Parent, True Parents, thank you so much for always showing us your vision and for executing and completing it. Even without our realizing it, our Heavenly Parent and True Parents have guided us to the highest summit, where they've allowed us to see how our dream is becoming reality. So today's Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope will be an event that shows the 8 billion people of the world how our dream can come true through the love of our Heavenly Parent. So earnestly, hoping and praying that you will watch over us from the beginning of this end to the end. Earnestly hoping and praying that you will watch over us from the beginning of this event to the end, and on behalf of all religious believers and denominations in the world, I report this in my name, Kim Gi-hun, a blessed central family. Aju. Thank you, everyone. Please give a warm round of applause to all religious representatives from Korea, Japan, and the United States for their prayers for peace on the Korean Peninsula, as well as the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. This time, we will be singing the Peace Anthem, the Chanulguk Anthem. I would like to ask everyone to please rise and sing together with hope and desire for eternal world peace and a heavenly unified Korea. Today, in America, is September 11. Actually, they had huge, the United States commemorates 20 years since the 9/11 terror attack. So let us use this time to, pay our tributes to those who had lost their lives during this terrible attack. Thank you.
감사합니다. 모두 자리에
Please
착석하시도록
be seated,
하겠습니다.
everyone.
이번 순서는 기조
It is
연설의
now
순서입니다.
time
지난
to listen
5월
to
9일
the keynote addresses on May 9. Think Tank 2022 was launched with 1,011 Korean and 1,011 international member experts who represented ISCP, IPPI, PD, IAD, IMAB, and IAP. So
신통일 한국의 실현을 위해 출범되었습니다.
today we'll be listening to the keynote addresses and congratulatory messages from Korean leaders and then from overseas leaders of Think Tank 2022. So first, representing Korean leaders of Think Tank 2022, we will have 9 leaders who will be delivering their keynote addresses and congratulatory messages. First, we'll have the mayor of Seoul, Oh Se-yoon, and then the governor of South Chungcheong Province, Yang Song-jo, and the governor of North Chungcheong Province, Lee Shi-jung, and the governor of North Jeolla Province, Song Ha-jin, and the mayor of Gwangju, Lee Yong-sup, the governor of North Gyeongsang Province, Lee Chol-woo, the mayor of Busan, Park Hyung-jun, the president of Gyeonggi Province Assembly, Chang Hyun-suk, and the president of Gangwon Province Assembly, Kwang Do-young. Please welcome these 9 leaders with a warm round of applause.
Good morning. I am Mayor of City of Seoul, Oh Se-hoon. I sincerely congratulate you on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope. I would like to express my gratitude for the unceasing efforts of UPF to realize peace on the Korean Peninsula and a unified Korea. At present, the world is going through the coronavirus pandemic and facing a climate crisis, not to mention a time of conflict and division. It is deeply significant that this occasion has been prepared that gathers worldwide leaders of every field to pool their wisdom and seek ways to overcome these crises and pave the way toward reconciliation and interdependence. In particular, the theme of this year's Rally of Hope, the attainment of peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, one of the only divided nations in the world, will become the cornerstone of peace in Northeast Asia and the world. In this regard, I am confident that the efforts we make to communicate with one another, transcending nation and region, will accelerate the coming of the era of peace, cherished by all. I pray that today's Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope will serve as a great opportunity to raise the awareness of global citizens on the importance of peace on the Korean Peninsula and help us advance toward the common prosperity of all people. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to be here today. I am South Chungcheong Province Governor Yang Sung-jo. Congratulations for hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for realizing sustainable peace and the lasting mutual prosperity of the Korean Peninsula. First, I offer my respect and gratitude to Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon for holding such a meaningful event. At the same time, it is my pleasure to greet all the heads of state, as well as political and religious leaders across the world who are participating online, distinguished guests from at home and abroad. Our efforts will determine how quickly we can bring about the era of a unified Korea. Even though North and South Korea are currently cut off from each other and communication is difficult, I believe this rally is one part of a greater process. The more difficult times become, the more patient and hard-working we need to be. Together with the members of UPF, the Citizens Federation and the Family Federation, which are working hard in diverse sectors of society, South Chungcheong Province will take the lead in local government efforts to bring about the unification of Korea. Working with our national government, we will do our best to prepare the foundation for peaceful unification by creating a model of North-South cooperation that can give help in the short term and share mutual benefits in the middle and long terms. At the same time, we will become the leading local government in overcoming the biggest problems facing South Korea: low birth rate, an aging population, and social polarization. I hope you will continue to show much interest and support so that the efforts of South Chungcheong Province can be expanded nationwide. In addition, I would also like to humbly entreat you, the leaders of the world's nations, to support the efforts to realize permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. Peace on this peninsula will not only bring about the development of both North and South Korea, but will bear fruit, the even greater fruit of prosperity and coexistence in Northeast Asia. Esteemed guests from at home and abroad, I would like to thank you once again for devoting yourselves as important figures in the movement for reunification, for the future of your localities and your nations. It is my hope that you will continue to invest even more effort until a unified Korea is realized. Once again, congratulations on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Global Rally of Hope. Thank you.
안녕하십니까.
Greetings, I am North Chungcheong Province Governor Lee Shijong. My heartfelt greetings, congratulations on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope. I would like to thank Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon, Chair of the Universal Peace Federation, for creating such a meaningful occasion. Peace is a universal value for all people that will lead to the happiness and prosperity of the entire world. Peace is the vaccine that prevents conflicts or disputes arising anywhere in the world and is the cure for people's pain. It is my hope that today's event will contribute to the realization of peace and national prosperity on the Korean Peninsula, as well as accelerate the journey towards its peaceful unification. May the philosophy of interdependence, mutual prosperity and universal values that Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon of UPF has been advocating spread throughout the world. And may you who are working together for this cause find happiness. Thank you. Universal Peace Federation leaders, distinguished guests from home and abroad, I'm happy to be with you. I am North Cholla Province Governor Song Ha-jin. Congratulations on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for a unified Korea. First, may I express my gratitude to Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon for devoting her life to world peace and the unification of the Korean Peninsula. I would also like to greet the experts taking part in bringing an end to conflicts in our global village and working to realize a world of peace. We, the people of North Cholla Province, are making every effort to expand exchanges and cooperation between North and South Korea. For example, in 2017, we invited the ITF Taekwondo demonstration team based in North Korea to the World Taekwondo Championship, a first step in opening the way to sports exchanges between North and South Korea. Moreover, we are actively working with the Ministry of Unification to promote suitable joint projects and exchanges between North and South Korea. Peace cannot easily be achieved. However, it is a goal that we must realize without fail for our future, as well as that of our descendants. North Cholla Province will never relax its efforts for the peace and prosperity of the Korean Peninsula. It is my hope that today's Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope will provide an opportunity for us to go beyond merely thinking about peace between North and South Korea and to start preparing for the era of world peace. Thank you. Greetings to you. I am Mayor of the city of Gwangju, Lee Yong-sop. I would like to congratulate you wholeheartedly on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. I would also like to express my gratitude to Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon, members of the Family Federation and Universal Peace Federation and related personnel for creating this wonderful opportunity. From the July 4th North-South Korean Joint Communique to the April 17th Panmunjom Declaration, we have made many promises for the reunification of the Korean Peninsula. Now the time has come for us to keep those promises, to put an end to the era of conflict and confrontation on this peninsula, and finally move forward on the path of reconciliation and peace. To that end, we in Gwangju will offer our power and wisdom. We will promote appropriate cooperative projects and exchanges between North and South Korea, including cultural and sports exchanges and humanitarian assistance to open the path to peace. I hope that this Rally of Hope will make waves of peace, bringing all those participating together as one. Thank you. I send my warm greetings. I am North Gyeongsang Province Governor Lee Chol-woo. I wholeheartedly congratulate you on today's occasion of the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope. The coronavirus pandemic is weakening international exchange and cooperation. The peace and mutual prosperity of our global village is also under threat from terrorism, wars, climate change, and other challenges. The confrontation between North and South Korea notably places our republic in desperate need of greater security and peace, and this makes today's Rally of Hope all the more important. Its goals are to foster peace on the Korean Peninsula, open the way to reunification, and contribute to world peace. I pray that the insights of global leaders and experts, as well as the devotion of all the participants today, will serve as a catalyst in bringing a future of hope and prosperity. Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm Mayor of the city of Busan, Park Kyung-jun. I sincerely congratulate you on hosting the Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. I would like to express my respect and thanks to all leaders worldwide participating in Think Tank 2022 to contribute to the peaceful unification of the Korean Peninsula and lasting world peace. At present, humankind is suffering under the coronavirus pandemic, a climate crisis, plus many areas of disharmony and conflict. It can be said that the imperfect peace here on the Korean Peninsula is an issue that must be resolved in our generation. I have great hope that Think Tank 2022, the team of experts from all over the world, will offer many insights on the thriving development of a unified Korea and on the interdependence and mutual prosperity of all people. I pray once again that the participants today will come together united in heart and take the next step forward. My congratulations and gratitude to you for hosting this meaningful assembly. Good morning. I am President of the Gyeonggi Province Assembly, Chang Hyun-gu. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart on hosting this Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope. Last May, Think Tank 2022, an association of experts from all over the world focusing on the peaceful unification of the Korean Peninsula, was launched. And today, Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope for a unified Korea is being held. It is my hope that, through this event, the range of effort being made for the peaceful reunification of the two Koreas and for lasting peace in the world can be introduced, thus providing an opportunity to build a wider rapport. The task at hand is to achieve peace on the Korean Peninsula. To that end, we need to cooperate together, acting as a centripetal force, combining our energies toward the cause of peace in international society. It is good to see that continuous efforts are being made to realize peace on the Korean Peninsula at this time when it is so desperately needed. I believe that the accumulation of such efforts will open the way to peace on this peninsula, right here in Gyeonggi Province, where the demilitarized zone that divides the two Koreas is located. Congratulations once again for hosting Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope, laying the groundwork for cooperation and solidarity for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Thank you.
안녕하십니까.
Greetings. It is a pleasure to see you. I am Kwak Do-young, the President of the Kangwon Province Assembly. I sincerely congratulate Think Tank 2022 Committee, a global group of experts focused on the peaceful unification of Korea and the realization of lasting world peace, on hosting this rally of hope. As you well know, our world faces multiple crises due to the COVID-19 pandemic and abnormal climate change, among others. In addition to these problems, the Republic of Korea is also in a crisis stemming from the division of Korea into North and South. Kangwon Province is likely the only divided province in the world. The division of the Korean Peninsula actually cut this province's territory in half. Gangwon-do is also a region of heartbreak, one arena where the Korean War was actually fought out and where the scars can still be seen. It is therefore the region that longs for peace more than any other. I anticipate that following on from the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, the next big step toward peace will be taken here in Gangwon. It is my hope that Think Tank 2022 will formulate policies and an agenda to that end. Though it will not be easy, I believe that the way to peace will be opened if we join our hearts together in longing for peace on the Korean Peninsula and throughout the world. Once again, I congratulate you on hosting the Rally of Hope, and I wish everyone health and happiness. Thank you very much.
Everyone, these were leaders representing Korean leaders of Think Tank 2022, and they congratulated again this rally of hope and sent their messages and support. Please send them also another warm round of applause for their precious messages. So by Korean time, it is actually 10 a.m. And the time around the world is all different. And actually 400 or so state-run as well as private broadcasters are broadcasting this rally of hope. So almost are broadcasting this rally of hope live today. So yesterday, even in South America, Paraguay, from 2 days prior to the rally of hope, they were already into the live broadcasting mood and atmosphere, running interviews and etc. to really prepare. And this is how much we can see how the 6 rallies of hope and how our vision for a heavenly unified world is really conveying this new message of hope at a time when many feel a lot of despair and disappointment and sadness. So and this also shows, this brings together the attention and interest of peace-loving citizens around the world. So anyways, everyone, to congratulate this rally of hope, we will be now holding our first peace performance, but we've actually invited very special guests to celebrate this rally of hope for Heavenly Unified Korea. These are actually renowned Korean traditional vocalist, a singer Nam Sang-il, and a traditional Korean instrument band called Gugak Band. And so this group, actually, Nam Sang-il and the band, have devoted themselves to spreading the spirit and the sound of Korea to the world. And so they've played such everyone, let us all welcome Korean vocalist Nam Sang-il and the Gugak Band, everyone, with a warm round of applause.
아이야 번입내야 어서 가자 대띄워라 동서남북 바람 불때 언제나 기다리나 숨고 가겠더니 이때가 아니더냐 해 띄워라 해 띄워라 아이야 번입내야 배 띄워서 어서 가자 바람이 없으면 노를 젓고 바람이 불면 돛을 올려라 강 건너 헌인매들 앉아서 기다리랴 그리워 서럽다고 울만 하냐 해 띄워라 아이야 번입내야 배 띄워서 어서 가자 동서남북 바람 불 때 언제나 기다리나 술이 가겠더니 이때가 아니더냐 해 띄워라 해 띄워라 아이야 번입내야 배 띄워서 어서 가자 바람이 없으면 노를 젓고 바람이 불면 돛을 올려라 강 건너 헌집매들 앉아서 기다리랴 그리워 서럽다고 울만 하랴 해 띄워라 해 띄워라
네, 반갑습니다. 저는 국악인 남상일입니다.
Hello
다시 한번
everyone, I am
인사드리겠습니다.
traditional singer Nam Sang-il and I greet you all.
네, 띵크탱크 2022
I really sincerely congratulate you on the rally. I'm truly honored to be able to sing at this Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope, and through this very meaningful event, I really hope that this can become a cornerstone for the unification of Korea, and that based on that, peace can truly come also around the world, that the whole world can be completely connected now without any blocking barriers. So I really hope that all distinguished leaders here can also always be safe and in good health and always in happiness and joy. And with this, I sang the song The Boat of Hope. I hope you liked it all, everyone.
네. 이 자리는
So
제가 개인적으로
this
생각하건데
occasion today felt more than a solemn kind of type of occasion. I really felt it is an occasion full of hope with and this strong longing for the unification of Korea. So I thought of it more of a festive kind of occasion for a heavenly unified Korea. So it is with that kind of desire, as well as a desire to have peace all around the world, I will be singing for you Holo Arirang, which will be a song that many many will probably be familiar with. So feel free to join along and sing the song Holo Arirang. Everyone, thank you.
멀리 동해바다 외로운 소 오늘도 거센 바람 불어오겠지 조그만 얼굴로 바람 맞으니 독도 야산 밤에 자리 잡느냐 아리랑 아리랑 홀로 아리랑 아리랑 고개를 넘어가보자 살아가 힘들면 쥐어가느라도 손잡고 가보자 같이 가보자 금강산 맑은 물은 통해로 흐르고 설악산 맑은 물도 통해 가는데 우리네 마음은 어디로 가는가 언제쯤 우리는 하나가 될까 아리랑 아리랑 홀로 아리랑 아리랑 고개를 넘어가보자 살아가 힘들면 쉬어가더라도 손잡고 가보자 같이 가보자 여보시오 번님네들 희망 전진대회 2022를 시작으로 해요
Beginning from the rally of 2022, may peace, peace wind blow across Korea and the whole world.
두산 두만강에서 배 타고 떠나라 한라산 제주에서 배 타고 가자 하나가 천정궁에 닻을 내리고 또는 아침에는 아니겠나 아리랑 아리랑 홀로 아리랑 아리랑 고개를 넘어가보자 살아가 힘들면 쉬어가더라도 손잡고 가보자 같이 가보자
너무도 멋지고 그리고 감동적인
Everyone,
공연을
let
우리
us give
선사해준
again
남상희 씨,
singer
우리
Nam
국악 밴드에게
Sang-il
다시 한번 여러분
and the Gugak
큰
Band
감사의
one more
박수를
round of
보내주시면
applause
좋겠습니다.
for their amazing and heart-moving performance.
두 곡의 노래를 통해 가지고요.
They
정말
performed
신통일
two
세계를 향한
songs, and through
신통이라는
those
게
two
배를
songs, we
띄우고
could really
정말 우리
feel
모두가
that
손잡고
desire to
함께라면
launch
반드시
that boat toward the
신통이라는 게
heavenly unified Korea
안착되겠다라는
and go there
확신이
toward that
그런 공연이었던 것
destination
같습니다.
hand in hand.
지금 조금 전에도 이제 계속
So
저하고 전
just
세계가
now,
실시간으로
actually just now,
연결이 돼서 문자도
we're
주시고
actually
영상도 보내고
I'm receiving
하시는데요.
like texts
오늘
on
아주
live
특별하게
with like
저희들
different
뒤에
leaders from
기존
around the
말씀하시겠지만
world.
우리
And
캄보디아의
as you
훈센
all know, we also have
총리께서
Prime Minister
지금 시간대가
Hun
한
Sen
2시간
of
차이가
Cambodia.
납니다.
Actually, there's
저희가
2-hour
9시
gap
시작을
between
로컬
Korea and
타임으로 9시
Cambodia.
시작했기
So though we
때문에
began at 9 o'clock
캄보디아는
local time here in
7시인데
Korea, it was
프놈펜
7 a.m. in
피스
Cambodia.
지금
So
희망전지인데
even
라이브로
at the
지금
Cambodian
함께하고
palace,
계십니다.
there she's
혹시 뭐 잠깐
Prime Minister
그
Hun Sen is
영상을
actually
지금
with
저
us at this
후보자가
very moment,
저희들과 함께하고
attending
있는
with
장면
us
여러분
this
환영의
rally of
박수로
hope.
한번
Everyone, please send a
보내주시면
warm round of
좋겠습니다.
applause to Prime Minister Hun
Excellent.
Sen.
Welcome. Thank you for participation. 네, 감사합니다. 이제 싱크탱크 2022를 대표하는 해외
So
지도자들의
now we'll be
기조연설을 듣는
listening to
시간을
keynote
갖도록 하겠습니다.
speeches from
먼저
leaders
첫 번째
overseas representing
기조연설은
Think Tank 2022.
제45대 미국
So
대통령
the first keynote
도널드
address will be
트럼프
delivered by His
대통령께서 해주시도록 하겠습니다.
Excellency Donald
도널드
Trump,
트럼프
the
대통령은
45th
우리
President
모두가
of the
알고
United
있듯
States.
대통령
And
재임
as
당시
everyone
북한의
knows,
비핵화를 통한
during his
한반도의
presidency, President Donald Trump
평화를
made
실현하기 위해 많은
significant
노력을
efforts to
기울였습니다.
denuclearize
미국
North
대통령 사상
Korea
처음으로
and
북한
achieve
김정은
peace on the
위원장과의 세
Korean
차례 회담을
Peninsula.
하였고
His three
특별히
meetings with Kim
2019년
Jong-un were a
DMZ에서
first in
김정은
American
위원장과의
history.
회담 후
And
북한
particularly
땅을
after the
밟은
meeting with
최초의
Kim
미국
Jong-un
대통령이기도 합니다.
in the DMZ
당시 세계
in
언론들은
2019,
이날의
he
행보를
became
두고
the first U.S. president to
21세기
step
가장
on North
역동적인
Korean
평화
soil.
실현을
And at
위한
that time, media
드라마다라고
headlines
찬사를
described
보낼
President
만큼
Trump's move
파격적인
as one of the most
회담이었습니다.
dynamic dramas of the
트럼프 대통령은
21st
본인
century.
스스로
And the
워싱턴
president in
타임즈의
particular
골수 팬이라고 할
loved
만큼
Washington
보수
Times, a
언론의
conservative
선로인지인
newspaper, so
워싱턴
much that he
타임즈를
said
사랑했으며
he was a true
아울러
fan of the Washington
창설자이신
Times.
한학자
In
총재님에
addition,
대해서는
President Trump
세계적으로
actively
경주하고
supports
있는
and praises Dr.
평화운동과
Hak Ja-han Moon,
그리고
the
한반도
founder
평화
of the
실현을
Washington
위해
Times, for her
노력하시는
world-class
활동에
peace movement and
적극적인
efforts
지지와
to bring
찬사를 하고
about
있습니다.
peace on the
한학자
Korean
총재님께서는
Peninsula
작년
and the
미국
world.
대통령
And
선거로
last
미국이
year, when the
진보와
United States was
보수로 나누어
divided into
분열과 갈등으로
progressives and
혼란할 때
conservatives due
미국
to the
기독교
U.S.
성직자들에게
presidential election,
용서하라
and
그리고 하나
when the
되라는
country
말씀과
became
함께
chaotic
하늘이
with
축복한
division and
미국
conflict, Dr.
건국의
Hak Ja-han Moon
근본
said to the
정신으로
American
돌아가야함을
clergy,
강조하시며
Christian
트럼프
clergy,
대통령에게 이
forgive and become
메시지를
one. She also emphasized the need to return
여러분,
to the
오늘
fundamental
신통일
founding
한국의
spirits of the
평화
United
비전을
States
위해
blessed by
귀한
heaven. So
연설을 해줄
she also
우리 도널드
delivered this
트럼프
message to
대통령을
President Donald
큰
Trump.
박수로
So ladies and
모셔주시면
gentlemen, please let
좋겠습니다.
us welcome President Donald Trump, who will now deliver us a priceless speech on heavenly unified Korea and the vision of peace.
It is a great and profound honor to address this seventh Rally of Hope and to speak to you today about a cause that is very close to my heart, the dream of peace and unity on the Korean Peninsula. I want to thank the Universal Peace Federation and in particular, Dr. Hak Ja-han Moon, a tremendous person, for her incredible work on behalf of peace all over the world. Her story of escaping from North Korea at 5 years old, at the outset of the Korean War, is an amazing example of the power of faith in Almighty God. I also want to thank her late husband, Reverend Moon, for founding the Washington Times, an organization for which I have tremendous respect and admiration. They have done an incredible job. I want to congratulate Dr. Moon on the launch of the new global initiative, Think Tank 2022, bringing together experts from around the world to focus on solving the conflict on the Korean Peninsula. As all of you know, the United States has a pivotal role to play in forging a lasting peace in Korea. One of my proudest accomplishments as president was to help create a new path toward a brighter future for all Koreans, North and South, a path by which the divisions and hardships of the past might one day be healed and really healed and to a level that nobody thought possible before, and the entire peninsula might achieve its true potential, which is incredible. When I came into office, this situation facing the world was very, very bleak. For decades, past leaders had failed to address the growing threat of conflict in that part of the globe. Former President Obama even told me that the situation on the Korean Peninsula was one of his biggest concerns in the entire world. Looking back today, it is easy to forget how dangerous the situation was when I was elected. Missiles were flying, nuclear weapons were being tested, and powerful threats were being issued every single day. As president, I knew that I could not simply sit by and wait for this problem to get worse. Every administration before me had failed, and that's why I was determined to pursue a different approach. Under my leadership, the United States adopted a policy of unprecedented strength, doing more than any prior administration to ensure that America and its allies could always protect our citizens. The United States took an unyielding stand militarily, diplomatically, and economically. We made it clear to all that we would never be threatened with nuclear weapons. And as many of you will remember, the rhetoric got very, very tough, nasty, and mean. Yet at the same time, from the very beginning, I always left the door open for engagement and dialogue. I knew that while any leader can wage war, it takes true courage to pursue a chance for peace. I believe that leaders should never be afraid to talk if there is an opportunity to create a better world for their people. Central to the bold diplomacy my administration pursued were our close partnerships with our allies, South Korea and Japan. President Moon and Prime Minister Abe both deserve enormous credit. They did a fantastic job. Together, over the 4 years, we made more progress than anyone thought possible. We passed several unprecedented and unanimous resolutions through the United Nations Security Council. We brought our hostages back home. So importantly, and I'll say it again, we brought our hostages back home. And we worked with North Korea to bring back the remains of our fallen heroes to American soil. In 2018, I became the first American president ever to sit down with the leader of North Korea when I met Chairman Kim Jong-un in Singapore. There, we established a productive relationship and we agreed to critical goal, and it was indeed a very critical goal, of complete denuclearization, the most important word that you'll ever hear. In 2019, I became the first American president to set foot in North Korea when we met again at the DMZ. Although it became clear in our second summit in Hanoi that North Korea was not yet ready to make a deal, I remain full of hope for the future. To this day, Chairman Kim has kept the promise he made to me in Singapore that there would be no more long-range missile launches or nuclear weapon testing. North Korea has not conducted a major weapons test since 2017. And for the sake of the entire world, I hope that continues. Over the past year and a half, a global pandemic has ravaged the planet. Sadly, the Korean Peninsula and many other places around the earth were hit very, very hard. The virus has caused immense suffering to all of our people. As we emerge from this pandemic that has tragically claimed so many lives, we pray that all sides can recognize that now is not the time for more conflict, but for cooperation. It is not the time for renewing hostilities. It is the time for replenishing hope. And it is not the time to be focused on building up our nuclear stockpiles, but to be focused on building up our nations to make a better and more beautiful world. I truly believe that an extraordinary future awaits the people of North Korea, and I have faith that if they pursue the path of denuclearization, they will make that future a magnificent reality. Until that blessed day comes, the indispensable force for peace on the Korean Peninsula remains a strong America. As we have seen recently in other parts of the world, weakness only invites more violence and chaos. The task for all of us who pray for peace on the Korean Peninsula is to ensure that our nations are not only great in power and rich in wealth, but even more, we must be strong in spirit. Every nation must summon the will to protect its citizens, its allies, and to leave a better future for our citizens. These are the forces and values that inspire change, that move countries, and make history that ultimately lead to peace. As I have argued many times before, if we want peace, we must have patriots. And we must honor the God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all nations and people everywhere. Over the last 4 years, my administration proved that there is no limit to the progress that can be achieved when the patriotic and peace-loving nations of the world stand proud, confident, and united on behalf of their people. 4 years ago, I had the great honor of visiting the city of Seoul and addressing the Korean National Assembly, and a great honor it was. As I told the people of South Korean Republic that day, and I will tell them again and anytime they want to hear it, what they have achieved on the peninsula is just amazing. In a few decades, the inspiration that they've caused for the entire planet is unbelievable. And I congratulate you again and again. In less than one lifetime, they took a war-torn land and turned it into one of the great nations and great democracies of the world while standing as America's friend and ally. Their example reminds all of us who strive for peace and for a better future that we should never give up and never, ever lose hope. With faith in God and love of our fellow citizens, let us work together to achieve a brighter and more brilliant tomorrow. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your dedication to peace on the Korean Peninsula and around the world. 여러분,
Ladies and gentlemen, let us express again our great gratitude with a thunderous round of applause to President Donald Trump for his precious speech. The next keynote speech will be given by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who served as the 90th, 96th, 97th, and 98th Japanese Prime Minister. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is a 9-term member of the House of Representatives, and he served as the 38th Secretary General of the Liberal Democratic Party, the 21st and 25th Party Presidents, and the 90th, 96th, 97th, and 98th Cabinet Prime Minister. He is one of the representative political leaders of modern Japan who led the longest regime in Japanese constitutional history. And Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, particularly in the second regime for about 7 years and 8 months, especially promoted economic policies known as Abenomics, centered on financial mitigation and growth strategy to stabilize the economy and society. And at the same time, he played a major role for Japan to be part of the development of a democratic international community that shared values such as freedom, basic human rights, and the rule of law by leading the free and open Indo-Pacific strategy and the Trans-Pacific Strategic Economic Partnership. His grandfather, Prime Minister Kishino Busuke, and his great-uncle, Prime Minister Eisaku Sato, were representative political leaders of the time who led the normalization of diplomatic relations between Korea and Japan in 1965, and his father, Shintaro Abe, known as Pro-Korea, served as the secretary of the LDP and the foreign minister. In other words, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is from a family representing Japanese politics. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will deliver a keynote speech today in support of Dr. Hak Cha-eun's and UPF Think Tank 22 objectives for unifying the Korean Peninsula. Everyone, let's welcome Prime Minister Shinzo Abe for a warm round of applause.
ご出席の皆様、日本国前内閣
Good
総理大臣
morning.
の安
I
倍
am
晋三
Shinzo
です。
Abe, former Prime Minister of
主催の
Japan.
もと、より良い
It is
世
an honor
界
for me
一
to
のため
speak
の
together with
対
my
話と
good friend,
諸問題
former
の
US
平和的解
President
決のた
Donald
め
Trump,
に、およ
at
そ
this Rally of Hope.
150カ国の
hosted by UPF in the presence of heads of state, parliamentarians, and religious leaders from 150 countries addressing today's problems and engaging in dialogue on how to create a better world.
特にこの度出版したシンクタンク
My hopes and expectations are
の果たす
especially
役割は
high for
大き
Think
なものがあ
Tank
ると期待
2022,
しております。
which is set to be
今
launched
日に
this
至るま
time
で
to play a
UPF ととも
significant
に
role.
世界各地の
Today, in honoring
紛争の
Dr.
解
Hak
決、
Jahan Moon
とりわ
and
け
all of you,
朝鮮
I
半
would
島
like
の
to
平和的
express my
統一に向
profound
けて
thanks
努
for
力され
your
てきた
tireless efforts
反
through
ハクチャ総裁をはじ
UPF
め
in
皆様
resolving
に敬
disputes
意を
in
表
the
します。
world, especially in
さ
relation to the
て、
peaceful
未だ
reunification
収束の
of
見
the
えない
Korean
コロナ禍
Peninsula,
の中では
while the
ありますが、
Tokyo Olympics and
特別
Paralympics were
な
held amid
歴
the
史的意味を
ongoing
持つ
pandemic,
こととなった
they have become a
東京オリン
special
ピック・パ
historical
ラリンピック大
event
会を
and
多
were
くの
safely
感動とともに
concluded
無事
amid much
閉幕するこ
hope
とができました。
and inspiration.
ご支援いただいた世界中の人々
I
に
would like to take
感
this
謝したいと
opportunity to
思いま
thank
す。
everyone around
史
the
上
world for
初
their
の
support,
1年延期、
despite numerous
選手
hurdles,
村以外
including
外
an
出禁止、
unprecedented one-year
無観
delay.
客等
No
数々
athletes
の困難を
were allowed to go
超え
outside of
開
the
催でき
athletes'
た
village, and the
ア
games
スリー
were
トの
held
姿は
without
世界中の
spectators.
人々に勇気と
But then
感
seeing
動を与え
athletes who attended
未来
the
への
opening gave the
明かりを
world
灯
much
すこと
needed
がで
strength
きたと
and
思います。
inspiration. And
そ
I
し
think
て
we lit a path
イデオ
for
ロ
the
ギー、
future,
宗教、民族、
sharing much
国家、
inspirational moment,
人種の違い
transcending
を超えて
ideology,
感
religion,
動を
ethnicity,
共有できた
nationality,
ことは
and race,
世界中の人
enabled the
々が
world to
人間
once
として
again
の
realize
絆
the
を
bond
再
that
認識す
unites
る契機となったと
humankind.
信じます。コロナ禍に覆われる世界で
Globally,
不安が人々の
people
心
are
を覆い
experiencing
つつ
anxiety
あります。
over the COVID-19
で
pandemic.
全体主義国家
We
と
are
民主主義
currently
国家の
experiencing
優位性が
an
比較さ
abnormal
れる
situation
異常事態と
where
なってい
people are
ます。
trying to decide
人
whether
間としての
totalitarian
絆は
states or democratic
強
states
制
are
されて
superior.
作られるべきではあ
Human
りません。
bonds can never be formed by
感動と
love,
共
by
感は
force.
自発的なものでなければなりません。
Inspiration and sympathy
人
must
と
be
人
voluntary,
との絆は
and the bond between
自由と
people
民
should
主
be
主義
based
の
on freedom
原則によって
and
支
democracy.
えられなければならないと信じます。一部の国が全体
Some
主義、
countries,
覇権主義
including
国家が
totalitarian
力
and
による
hegemonic regimes,
現状変更を行
are
おうとする
attempting to bring
策動
about
を
change
阻
by
止しなけれ
force.
ばなりません。
Political
私
maneuvering
は自由で開かれた
of this type
インド太平洋の実現を
must stop.
継続的に訴え続けました。そして今や米国の戦略
Thanks
と
to
な
my
り、
advocacy
欧
for
州
a
を含め
free
た
and open
世界の戦略と
Indo-Pacific,
なりました。
this strategy has been adopted
自由で
by
開か
the
れた
US,
インド
Europe,
太平洋
and the
戦略に
world
とって
at large.
台湾
For
海
a
峡の
free and open
平和と
Indo-Pacific
安定
strategy,
の維持
however,
は
the Taiwan
必須要件
Strait
です。
must remain
日本、米
peaceful
国
and、stable.
台湾、韓国など
Thus,
自
the
由と
need for more
民主主義の価
solidarity
値を
between
共有する
countries
国々の
that share
さら
the
なる
values
結
of
束が
freedom and
求められてお
democracy,
ります。
such as Japan, the United
UPF
States,
の
Taiwan,
平和ビジョンにおい
and
て
South Korea is more
家
pressing
庭の
than
価値
ever.
を強調す
I
る点を
appreciate
高
UPF's
く
focus
評価
and
いたします
emphasis on family values.
世界人権宣言にあるよ
As
うに
stated in the
家庭
Universal
は
Declaration
社
of
会の
Human Rights,
自然
the
かつ
family is the
基礎
natural
的
and
手段単
fundamental
位
group unit
としての
of
普
society.
遍的価値を持っているのです。
Let's be aware of
偏っ
so-called
た価値観を
social revolutionary
社会
movements
革命運
with
動として
narrow-minded
展開する動
values.
きに警戒しましょう。いつの時代も理想
History
に向かう
has
情熱
always
が
been moved by the
歴
great
史を
passion
動
for
かしてき
the
ました。
ideal throughout ages.
理想の前
Throughout
に
the
は常に
ages,
壁
an
があります。
ideal always finds
よ
itself
って
confronted by
戦いがある
barriers.
のです。
Obviously, a fight
情
will
熱を持っ
ensue,
て戦う人が
and it is
歴史を
passionate
動かしてき
fighters
ました。
that have changed and moved
自由
history.
と民主主義の価値を
We will
共有
need
する国々
passionate
の団結。
leaders
台湾
if we
海
are
峡
to
の
achieve
平和と
solidarity
安定
between
の維
countries
持。
sharing freedom
そし
and
て
democracy.
朝鮮半島の
Maintain
平和的
peace
統一の実
and
現を
stability
成し遂げる
in the
ためには
Taiwan Strait
とてつもない情
and
熱を持っ
achieve
た人
peaceful
々による
unification
リーダーシ
of
ップ
the
が必要
Korean
です。
Peninsula.
この希望
These
前
rallies
進
of
大会
hope
が
will
大
give
き
us
な
much strength.
力を与えてくれると
Of this,
確信
I
いた
am
します。
confident.
ありがとうござい
Thank
まし
you
た。
very much.
安倍総理へ大変感動的な演説をしていただき誠にありがとうございます。 강원도 또 아시아노 회의와 한해인이 다이스로 기초노 엔제스도
Prime Minister, thank you so much for your touching speech. Thank you very much for your valuable speech on peace and prosperity in the Korean Peninsula and Asia, and for your support for Think Tank 2020. Everyone, let us send a warm round of applause to former Prime Minister.
정말 트럼프 대통령과 함께 우리 아베 신조 수상께서
We
연설을
have just
해주심으로써
actually listened to keynote speeches from President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and through the strong support of leaders around the world for a heavenly unified Korea, I believe that this vision will definitely become a reality. So now we will be listening to the third keynote address, which will be delivered by Jose Manuel Barroso, the 11th President of the European Commission and former Prime Minister of Portugal. And His Honorable Barroso served as President of the European Commission from 2004 to 2014, as well as Prime Minister of Portugal from 2002 to 2004. And as of this year, he became the President of the Global Alliance for Vaccine and is actively taking the lead in resolving the global coronavirus pandemic. And as a member of the International Summit Council for Peace founded by Dr. Hak Ja Han-moon, he delivered impactful keynote speeches at the 2nd and the 5th Rally of Hope for the realization of a heavenly unified world. And he will speak today about the vision of a heavenly unified Korea that Dr. Hak Ja Han-moon advocates for and is striving for. So everyone, join me in welcoming His Honorable Barroso, 11th President of the European Commission, with a warm round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the European Union is about peace. That's the reason why the European Union was created in the 50s of last century. It was certainly an economic organization, but with a clear political goal, peace. So it should come as no surprise that the European Union strongly supports Korean reunification and is in favor of reconciliation and denuclearization in the Korean Peninsula. The European Union has shown its consistent support to that process. The European Union believes it is important that the Republic of Korea engages with the DPRK so that it will be possible to make peace, reconciliation, and reunification of the peninsula. Speaking on my own behalf, and I want to make it clear that I'm speaking personally and no longer as representing my government, where I served for 12 years in different capacities, including foreign minister and prime minister, or representing the European Union, where I served in the European Commission for 2 mandates, 10 years. Speaking on my own behalf, let me share with you that I believe there is an imperative of hope for the Korean Peninsula. We know the difficulties, and there are certainly important difficulties and obstacles, but we know that there are also conditions to make progress now, provided there is goodwill on both sides. Public participation and cooperation should also form the basis of this open process. The Republic of Korea has given clear evidence of good faith and of its willingness to make progress towards cooperation and the escalation of tensions. It seems appropriate for the DPRK now to reciprocate, namely making some concrete and credible steps towards denuclearization. The peaceful reunification of the two Koreas and the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula are very important indeed, first of all, for the Koreans themselves, but also for the whole region and indeed for the global community. All these matters, denuclearization, reunification, peace and prosperity, are interlinked. And at the end, it's about reconciliation, true reconciliation. While other powers from the region or global powers may have a legitimate interest in this process because this process may affect regional and global peace, the reality is that it's upon the Koreans themselves that there is a responsibility to make this happen. When I visited some years ago as president of the European Commission, the DMZ, I could see the physical expression of that division. And that's why I want to reinforce that point. It's up to the Koreans themselves to show their sincere willingness and their commitment to reconciliation. Only through that process will there be conditions for the process to succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, in the history of international relations, there are several cases of division and reunification of countries. I'm not suggesting that Korea should follow this or that path. We know well that each case is a case. It's for the Koreans themselves to find a specific Korean way to achieve this peace and reconciliation. As it happens in any international conflict, there are internal causes and external conditions. What the global community can do, and I believe it should do even more, is to show strong support to facilitate through these external conditions, create the best external conditions for the Koreans themselves to find a way for true reconciliation and peace. So what should be done now? I believe in the short term, it's critically important to resume dialogue, to create confidence-building measures, and also, when the time comes, to have some summits between the leaders. And of course, we have to have in mind the medium and long term, where peace and reunification can only be achieved through this reconciliation and the denuclearization process. So we may also ask, is there hope? Is it really possible to have reunification? My answer is yes. I think it is possible. It may appear difficult, but it should be possible. As Nelson Mandela famously said, it always seems impossible until it's done. But how can we say that there is hope? Because there are some signs that it can be done. The very fact that this 7th Rally of Hope, under the overall theme, reunification of the Korean Peninsula, is taking place, and it is including the official launch of Think Tank 2022, it's a very encouraging signal because it's assembling experts all over the world on Korean issues committed to find a solution. And also the fact that this has been assembled under the overall leadership of Ban Ki-moon, it's also a very encouraging signal. I know well Ban Ki-moon is a friend. I know his experience, his competence, his wisdom, his persistence, and of course, the love for his country. All this allows us to be relatively optimistic about the future of this process. And let me conclude with a very sincere word of appreciation for the great work of UPF and Dr. Hak-cha Han-moon for their remarkable commitment to peace and reconciliation in the Korean Peninsula. I believe all those that are committed to peace and reconciliation, all those that recognize the imperative of hope, deserve our recognition and our admiration. I thank you all.
Thank you, Excellency, for your visionary support for Mother Moon and the work for peace. 여러분,
Everyone, let us once again give a warm round of applause to His Honorable Rojo for his outstanding efforts for peace and for his valuable remarks on achieving lasting peace throughout the world and in particular the Korean Peninsula. Now the fourth and the fifth keynote addresses will be given by representatives of the Asia Pacific, and Her Excellency Gloria Arroyo was the 14th President of the Philippines, and His Excellency H.D. Dev Gowda was the first Prime Minister of India. Former President Gloria Arroyo held office as the 14th President of the Philippines from 2000 to 2010. She was praised by her citizens for efforts toward the peaceful development of her nation.
특별히 문선명
She especially
한학자
had a
총재님이
special
양이분과 아주
relationship with
각별한
Reverend Sang
인연을
Myung-moon
갖고
and Dr. Hak
있고
Cha-han-moon. In
2005년
2005,
총재
she
양이분을
invited Reverend
대통령
Mrs. Moon to the
완제인
presidential
말라카냐
residence
궁으로 직접
Malacanang
초청해
Palace, where she
양이분의
listened to
평화
their
비전을
peace
듣고
vision
유엔
and
갱신
actively
운동을
supported the movement to
적극적으로
renew the
지지했습니다.
UN.
특별히 한학자
Deeply moved by
총재님의
Dr. Hak
여성으로서의
Cha-han-moon's
평화
peace
리더십에
leadership
크게
as a
영감을
woman,
받아
her
지금까지
Excellency
UPF 평화
Gloria
운동을 적극
Arroyo
지지하며
has supported UPF's
세계적인
peace
여성
movement to this
지도자로서
day,
평화
and she's
활동에
also
아주
taking the lead
앞장서며
in
헌신해 오고
peace
있습니다.
initiatives
그리고
as a woman
대벨보다
leader.
인도 수상께서는
And also His Excellency
제11대
Deye
수상을
Gauda served
역임하셨고
as the first
2019년까지
Prime Minister
육선
of
하원
India.
의원으로
He also served
지금은
6
상원
terms in the
의원으로
House of
활동하고
the People
계십니다.
until 2019,
2018년
and
한학자
today he is a
총재님께서
member of
개최하신
the
아시아
Rajya
태평양
Sabha,
서밋과
India's upper house.
2020년
And in 2018, he delivered a keynote address
월드
at the Asia Pacific
서밋에서
Summit hosted by
한학자
Dr. Hak Cha-han-moon, and
평화
again in
비전과
2020 at the
신통이라는
World
비전을
Summit in Korea.
적극 지지하고
His
계십니다.
Excellency
여러분,
has been an active
글로리아
supporter
아로요
of Dr. Hak
필리핀
Cha-han-moon's
대통령과
vision for peace
베베고다
and a
인도
heavily
수상을
unified
큰
Korea.
박수로
Ladies and gentlemen,
모셔주시면
please welcome
좋겠습니다.
both Her Excellency Gloria Arroyo and His Excellency Deye Gauda.
In the 3 decades since the end of Russia's occupation of Afghanistan and Vietnam's rule in Cambodia, one cannot recall a period of intensifying military confrontation and superpower rivalry in Asia more fractious and potentially explosive than in the past several years. Thankfully, North Korea and South Korea seem to be bucking this trend toward greater fractiousness, with leaders Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in exchanging letters since April and announcing the restoration of several communication channels in July, including a military link demolished by the North last year. 4 drivers of conflict bear close watching and could well be the main sources of global division and war. I cite the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the Holy Bible as symbols of 4 epoch-spanning forces driving division and confrontation and undermining our overarching vision of worldwide harmony and peace. The first horseman, riding a white steed, wears a crown and wields a sword. Let me dwell on its symbolism of conquest. In the 20th century, the global ideological struggle between the US and the USSR sparked 3 wars in Asia. Korea in 1950 to 1954, Vietnam from 1954 to 1975, and Afghanistan from 1980 to 1989. With the Soviet Union gone and China rising, the Chinese are ensuring that buffer states like North Korea remain close allies. In Korea, that means keeping Pyongyang on best behavior. Thus, Uncle Sam has no reason to boost its military presence in the south. The second horseman rides the red steed of war. Obviously, that is the antithesis of the Universal Peace Federation. This scourge also went global in the last century with the Second World War and the global Cold War, which has among its fearsome legacies the Korean Peninsula status as perhaps the most militarized land on earth, with 1.6 million troops and among the most fearsome arrays of tanks, artillery, missiles, and warplanes facing off. The third rider, perched upon a black steed, spreads famine and poverty upon the world. In the Korea Peninsula, the specter of hunger in the north can portend both war and peace. On the one hand, crop failures like the one now threatening amid recent widespread flooding could trigger saber rattling and chest thumping against purported foreign aggression, to shore up popular support for the national leadership amid mounting social and economic woes. On the other hand, and hopefully this is so today, dire straits can lead Pyongyang to mend fences as a prelude to seeking massive aid. With a growing North-South exchange, food will hopefully flow to the north, clearing the way for more dialogue. The last horseman on the pale mount of death is given its place in the apocalyptic parade to symbolize calamities that can snuff out masses of people in days, hours, or minutes. In the face of the four horsemen of conquest, war, poverty, and death, the imperative for all peace-loving, harmony-building advocates, especially the Universal Peace Federation, is crystal clear. UPF must advance common understanding, purpose, and fraternity among peoples and cultures. Let Korea's example teach the world that peace can thrive if humanity can dream together. Kamsahamnida.
His Excellency Mother Moon, distinguished current and former heads of the state and government, dear global participants of the Rally of Hope, I send you all the greetings and good wishes from the peace-loving Indian citizens for your good health and well-being amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Please stay safe and healthy. I commend the great work of the Universal Peace Foundation throughout the world, promoting the brotherhood and the culture of peace under the gifted leadership of the founder, Mother Moon. While we are participating in the 7th Rally of Hope, the world is still going through the crisis of COVID-19 global pandemic. As we are participating in the Rally of Hope, I join with you all, keep our hope alive to the better world to come, passing through this unexpected crisis of the century. I extend my solidarity to the think tank of 2022 Global Forum and launch a Asia Pacific think tank secretariat in the collaboration with the Asian Vision Institute based on the Cambodia, consisting of the several experts, working groups from a wide range of sectors, government, business, academia, media, religion, and civil society dedicated to exploring the prospects of the peace on the Northeast Asia and as world. I believe that the Rally of Hope series which attached the attention of millions of viewers worldwide will be successful in addressing the critical challenges of our time, promoting constructive dialogue and multilateral cooperation for the sake of peace and human development. May the civil society approach of Think Tank 2022 seek to support the work of government agencies and multilateral organizations dedicated to the promotion of peace on the Korean Peninsula and world.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. Your speech inspired us and helped us to see a clear vision for Peace Century on Think Tank 2022. 여러분 정말 의미 있고 그리고 감동적인 연설해 주신 우리 글로리아 아로요 전 필리핀 대통령과 데베 고다 인도 수상께 다시 한번 감사의 박수를 부탁드리겠습니다. 다음 6번째 그리고 7번째 기조 연설해 주실 분은 동유럽과 그리고 라틴 아메리카 대표의 세르비아 나타시비치치 대통령과 트리니다드 토바고 제5대 대통령 앤소니 카르모나 대통령께서 이 기조 연설해 주시도록 하겠습니다. 세르비아의 나타시비치치 대통령은 재임 기간 동안 발칸 반도에서 오랜 기간 세르비아 독재 정치 타도에 앞장서며 평화의 어머니 한학자 총재님 리더십에 큰 영감을 받아 분쟁 역사가 깊은 발칸에서 항구적 평화가 이루어지려면 반드시 한학자 총재님의 평화 사상을 따라야 한다라고 강조하며 한 총재님의 평화 비전을 적극 지지하며 평화 세계 실현에 앞장서 나가고 계십니다. 아울러 트리니다드 토바고 앤소니 카르모나 대통령은 재임 기간 동안 트리니다드 토바고 물론 중미의 평화를 위한 다양한 활동을 펼쳐나갔으며 특별히 한학자 총재님께서 세계적으로 펼치시는 국가적 차원의 참가적 운동에 고무되어 아주 적극적인 지지를 보내고 계십니다. 여러분, 나타샤 미치치 대통령과 앤소니 카르모나 대통령을 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시면 좋겠습니다.
And Anthony Carmona with a big round of applause.
Distinguished fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the Rally of Hope organizer for giving me this opportunity to participate in the work of the Universal Peace Federation. It's very important to support efforts such as these that are being made to make the world a better place. As a result of globalization, the world is becoming more humane. Humanity's sense of interconnectedness is especially important in difficult crisis situations such as during the current pandemic. However, once crises are resolved, our tendency is to revert to mainly looking after our own interests. The global order has also been seriously disrupted in areas where we have failed to overcome the after effects of past conflicts such as on the Korean and Balkan peninsulas. It always seems to me that there are uncanny parallels between the histories of these two peninsulas. Just like Korea, for many hundreds of years, we have been invaded and worked all over by foreign powers, and their influences are present even today. For decades, the peoples of both the Korean and Balkan peninsulas have had to live with crippling tensions in fear of new and escalating conflicts. Today, the struggle for the public interest, which was mostly limited to the efforts of individual states or alliances of states, is increasingly turning into a struggle for what is good for the entire planet, for the global good of humanity as a whole. And that should give us a hope. That is why the contribution of each nation, of each NGO, of each government is so important. That is why the Universal Peace Federation, under the leadership of its co-founder, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, is also so important. I truly wish the Korean people well in their path towards peaceful reunification and hope that a clear processes in that direction, as envisaged by UPF, can begin really soon. I particularly want to commend UPF's efforts under the umbrella of Think Tank 2022 to bring together over 2,000 of the world's top experts in relevant fields to find ways to make it happen. Thank you very much, and it has been a privilege to take part of this latest Rally of Hope.
7th Rally of Hope is an affirmative testament of the perseverance and remarkable outreach of the Universal Peace Federation, UPF, an organization inspired by the humane and benevolent philosophies of its co-founders, Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon. This initiative is germane to their inspiring advocacy to garner and trigger international mobilization to dismantle the inactive and unsettling state of war between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the Republic of Korea. The think tank 2022, emerging out of the 6th Rally of Hope, was visionary and transformational. The think tank is independent, solution-oriented, and very inclusive, and is not an incursion from outside or any attempt to manipulate the politics within. In the context of conversations on reunification, reconciliation, and denuclearization and the peace process, we cannot be indifferent to the human and economic crises in North Korea. There is a view among many international observers of the need to delink aid from denuclearization negotiations on humanitarian grounds. Collaborative goodwill is the engine of any successful peace process. I need to reiterate the importance and effects of the concept of the Kaesong Industrial Complex, a joint inter-Korean economic project closed in 2016 as a conduit of the peace economy. The reunification and pacification of the Korean Peninsula have the capacity of realizing and achieving goal number 16 of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Peace, justice, and strong institutions for North and South Korea. Persons around the world must be made aware of the phenomenal strides and efforts made by the UPF and its esteemed co-founders in the reunification and peace process. The Fourth Estate, the press, must not only share the message of the 7th Rally of Hope, but commit to consistently presenting the advances being made for reunification, reconciliation, and peace in the Korean Peninsula. Effective dissemination of information can ensure our young people globally are made aware and sensitized about the complexities of the Korean Peninsula, so they too can become empowering advocates of peace and also be seated at the table of reconciliation, reunification, and peace for United Korea. I am inspired by Reverend Dr. Moon's youth initiative and visionary rapprochement some 30 years ago when he organized a youth ballet contingent, the Little Angels Dance Troupe, to perform in North Korea with a view to utilizing the force of youth culture to bring the family of a united Korea together, North and South. We in the UPF must therefore continue to be relentless in our mission to culture peace globally. I thank you.
Your Excellencies, thank you for your support for Think Tank 2022 and the Heavenly Unified Korea. 여러분, 자국과 소속 대륙과는 무관하지만 한반도의 평화 통일, 신통일 한국에 대한 순수한 마음으로 지지하고 그 비전의 성취를 염원해 주신 우리 귀한 연설을 통해서 지지해 주신 우리 나타샤 미치치 대통령과 앤소니 카르마노 대통령께 다시 한번 여러분 큰 감사의 박수를 보내주시면 좋겠습니다. 다음은 두 번째 평화 공연의 순서입니다. 대한민국을 대표하는 세계적 어린이 문화예술단 리틀 엔젤스가 준비했습니다. 1962년 문선명 한학자 총재님 양희분에 의해 창단된 리틀 엔젤스는 대한민국의 아름다움과 그리고 한민족의 평화의 정신을 세계에 전파하기 위해 다양한 문화예술 활동을 통해 정말로 민간 외교에서 아주 큰 역할을 담당하고 있습니다. 특별히 신통일 한국을 위해 대한민국 정부와 함께 수많은 공연들을 개최했고 한학자 총재님과 함께 전 세계를 순회하며 많은 해외 공연도 개최하였습니다. 오늘 무대에서는 싱크탱크 2022 희망전진대회 성공적 기원과 함께 신통일 한국을 기원하며 진세놀이와 그리고 부채춤을 준비했다고 합니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 우리 어린이 예술단 어린이 천사 우리 리틀 엔젤스를 모셔주시면 좋겠습니다.
Thank you.
여러분 정말 멋지고 그리고 아름다운 공연을
Everyone,
통해서 신통일
once
한국의
again, let us give
성취의
a
비전을
big
보여준 우리
round of
리틀
applause to
엔젤스에게
the
다시
Little Angels
한번
for giving us
큰
such an
박수를
elegant,
보내주시면
beautiful
좋겠습니다.
performance.
존경하는 각국 정상들
Honored
그리고
heads
평화를
of
사랑하는
states
평화
and
지도자 여러분,
leaders who love
이제
peace.
오늘 희망
It is
전진
now
대회의
time to
주최자이신
listen to a
한학자
special message
총재님,
from
평화의
Dr.
어머니
Hak
참
Jahan,
어머님을
the host
모시고
of the
특별
Rally of
연설을
Hope,
듣는
the true
시간을
mother
갖도록
and
하겠습니다.
mother of peace.
한학자 총재님께서는
Dr. Hak
일생을
Jahan
통해
has lived a life
항구적인
of
세계
true
평화를
love
위해
and devotion
참사랑의
to the
헌신의
cause of
삶을
lasting
살아오셨습니다.
world peace.
항구적 평화
Her
이상 세계
lifelong
실현을 위한
determination for realizing
총재님의
a world of
사생결단,
permanent peace.
전력
Her
투구의
life
헌신적
of
삶은
all-out effort
국경,
transcending
인종,
borders,
종교를 넘어
races,
수많은
and religions
정치,
has led
종교
many
지도자들에게
political
평화의
and
어머니로
religious leaders to
불리움
refer to
받게
her
되셨습니다.
as the mother
여러분,
of peace.
평화의 어머니 한학자 총재님,
Everyone,
참 어머님을 모시도록
all
하겠습니다. 모두
welcome the
자리에서
mother of
일어나
peace, the true
한학자
mother,
총재님을
Dr. Hak Jahan.
환영해
Please
주시면
rise from
좋겠습니다.
your seats and let us all welcome Dr. Hak Jahan.
한국의 평화 세계와 한반도의 평화 실현을 위해 지난 5월 9일 싱크탱크 2022를 발족하시고 정치, 경제, 종교, 문화, 예술, 언론 등 전 방위적 분야에서 신통일 한국의 평화 비전을 제시하고 오늘 싱크탱크 2022를 중심으로 첫 번째 희망 전진 대회를 위한 귀한 특별 연설을 해주시기 위해 입장하신 한학자 총재님께 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 감사의 박수를 부탁드리겠습니다. 이제 한학자 총재님께서 특별 연설을 해주시도록 하겠습니다. 모두 자리에
Everyone,
착석하시겠습니다.
please take your seats.
평화를 염원하는 전
Beloved
세계
heads of state
지도자,
who yearn for
특히
peace, in
싱크탱크
particular with
2022에
relations to Think Tank
참석하시어
2022, I would like to
최고의
recognize
정상으로서
as the
7분의
great
기저
leader
연설을
and as a
참으로
model head of state, not just the 7 speakers who have
의미
come before,
깊게
but also
감사한 마음으로
His Excellency
경청했습니다.
Samdech Hun Sen. I have listened to all of the previous speakers with a heart of
이 시대가
gratitude.
바라는
And today in this
하늘
era,
섭리의 완성을 위해서
we have come to an important time, a
하늘이
time to
수고한
realize heaven's providence.
역사 가운데
And throughout human
여러분들이
history,
선택을 받은 입장에서
you have been specially chosen by heaven
세계 평화와
with
신통일
regards
한국을
to
염원하는
the heavenly
그
unified Korea
깊은
and the
뜻에는
realization of world peace.
하늘이
There is a
함께하고
profound
있음을
meaning.
알아야 할 것입니다.
You need to understand that heaven is working with
창조주
you.
하나님은
God the Creator
인류의
is
우리의
our
하늘 부모님이십니다.
heavenly parent.
어떻게 자녀되는 인류가
How is it
하늘
possible
부모님 앞으로
that
나아갈 수
humanity,
없는
which stands in the
환경이
position
되어버린
of children before
오늘의
the heavenly
현상입니다.
parent, these children
그래서
cannot
나는 오늘
freely return to the bosom of
하늘
the
섭리로
parent,
본
the heavenly creator. That is why today
근세
I would like
인류 문명사와
to speak about
오늘이라는
the
제목으로 말씀을
recent
하고자 합니다.
history of the providence and today.
타락 이후
Following the
하늘이
human
수고하시사
fall, heaven worked tirelessly
2000년 전에
and
이스라엘 민족을
2000 years
통해서
ago through the people
예수
of Israel,
그리스도를 보내주셨습니다.
Jesus Christ came
그는
on the earth
인류의
and
참
Christ
조상입니다.
came as a true ancestor for
메시아입니다.
humanity, a Messiah.
그러나
However,
안타깝게도
unfortunately,
그를 탄생시킨 마리아,
Mary, who gave birth to Jesus,
유대교, 이스라엘 민족은
the people
참
of the time,
주인을
the Jewish leaders of the
몰라봤습니다.
time, and the people
그들이
in the
환경권이
vicinity of
되어서
Jesus did not recognize the true owner.
예수님께서는
They did not
참
become an
부모 자리에
environment
나아갈
where
수 있어야
Jesus could
했습니다.
ascend to the position of
그러나
parent.
그리 되지
However,
못하여
they could not
십자가에
form a
돌아가시며
foundation of support
다시
for Jesus,
오마했습니다.
and having
다시
no
와서는
foundation to stand,
어린 양
Jesus
잔치를
walked
하겠다
the path
하였습니다.
of the cross and prophesied that he would come again to host the marriage wedding of the Lamb.
예수님의 제자들과
The apostles
사도들에
of
의해서
Jesus and
기독교가 출발을
his
보게 됩니다.
followers worked to begin
초기에
Christianity. In the early days of the church,
이루 말할 수 없는
unspeakable
핍박을 받았습니다.
persecution had to be endured.
300년이 지나서 로마에 공헌되며
After 300 years,
이태리 반도를 중심하고
centering
기독교가
on
출발을 하게
being
됩니다.
recognized by the Roman Empire, Christianity expanded
유럽
throughout
대륙을
the
거쳐
Roman Empire,
영국
going
섬나라까지 가
beyond continental Europe,
영국을
reaching the
통해서
British Isles, and
대서양
through
문명권 시대를
Great Britain,
열었습니다.
a new era of the great
세계로
Atlantic civilization
나아갔습니다.
began. Christianity
그러나
expanded to the world.
그들은
However,
예수님의 본질을
they
몰랐습니다.
could not understand the true essence
더더구나
of Jesus. In
창조주 하나님이
particular, they did
어떤
not
분이신지도
understand truly
몰랐습니다.
who is God the Creator.
어떻게
How
기독교 문명권 안에서
is it possible that within the Christian cultural
많은
realm,
나라들의
many
갈등과
nations
전쟁이 일어나게 됩니다.
endured conflict and wars?
2차 대전 말에는
At the end of the Second World War,
민주화 공산으로
due to the division between democracy and communism,
한반도는
the Korean Peninsula
남과 북으로
was divided
갈라졌습니다.
into North and South.
하늘의 섭리는 멈출
The
수가 없었습니다.
providence of heaven could not stop.
이스라엘 민족을 통해서 섭리를
And
하시고자 하셨던
The
하늘의
providence
역사는
that heaven wished to accomplish through the people of Israel
그들이 책임 못함으로 말미암아
was
그들에게는
frustrated, and because
탕감이
of
남아있기
the
때문에
failure to accomplish heaven's will, great
하늘은
indemnity was paid.
독생녀를 탄생시킬 수 있는 나라를 선택하셨습니다.
And heaven raised a nation
그것이
where the only begotten daughter would be born.
2000년 전부터
And
수천 년을 거쳐
this
하늘이 보호하고 축복한
was possible because
나라가
heaven protected
한민족입니다.
and blessed the nation of the Korean people.
한국은 전쟁을 싫어했으며
Korea was a nation that did not like war. They
무엇보다도
were a people recognized
중요시 여기며
that
숭배했습니다.
really revered
그리고
heaven
부모를
and
공경하고
respected
조상을
parents,
공경하는
respected
나라로 알려져
ancestors.
있습니다.
Korea is known as a nation that
지금도
respects and honors ancestors. And even now in Korea, you can see many
평화로운
families
삶을
of 3
살고
generations living
있습니다.
together.
1945년에 이 나라가 해방이 됐습니다.
In 1945, Korea was liberated.
1950년에
And
이 나라에
in
동란이
1950,
일어났습니다.
the Korean War erupted.
이 한민족을 통해서
And through
기독교
the
기반
people of
안에서
Korea, within the Christian
1943년에
foundation,
독생녀가
in
탄생됩니다.
1943, the only begotten daughter was born.
어찌하여
How is it possible
세계에 알려지지 않은 작은 나라
that a nation, a small nation unknown to the world, how is it possible that 16 UN member nations mobilized together
이 나라의
to come and
민주주의를
defend
지켜주었을까요?
democracy in this nation?
이는
This
인간의 힘이 아닌
is not possible with human
하늘이
effort.
보호하사입니다.
It is because heaven protected this nation.
창조주께서는 천지 만물을 창조하시고
God created heaven and earth,
시조를 창조한
and
후에
after creating the first human ancestors, God gave them a period of growth.
인간이
And
아름답고 건강하게
the hope of the Creator was for humanity to grow beautifully, reach perfection, become fruitful, and receive the blessing of heaven.
지상에서
This was
함께 하려 하셨습니다.
the ideal that God wished to accomplish.
그 꿈을 이룰 수 있는 마지막
And in order to realize this dream,
재림
for the
메시아가
first
다시
time,
오마한
the returning Messiah would return, and before this returning Messiah, the only begotten daughter would appear, and
참 부모
through
자리에
the only begotten daughter,
수 있게 됩니다.
the advent of true parents would be
과거
realized.
2000년 전
2,000 years ago,
예수님 때는
during the time of Jesus,
유대교와 이스라엘 민족이 기반이 되지 못해서
the Jewish leaders of the time and the people of the time could not embrace Jesus, and he walked the path of the cross. And those who failed in their responsibility paid tremendous indemnity. We are aware of the tremendous indemnity that was paid. Now, the time has come for Korea to fulfill its responsibility.
하늘은
Heaven
이 민족을 통해서
wishes through the people of Korea
세계를 품고자
to
하십니다.
embrace the world.
그 예가
For example,
100년 전
100 years ago,
인도의 시성 타고리
Rabindranath Tagore of
한국이
India,
가장 어려울 때에
at the time when Korea was suffering the most, Rabindranath Tagore
불을 다시 한번 켜지는 날에
mentioned that on the day that the light will shine again on Korea, Korea will become the light of the East.
등불은 무엇을 말합니까?
What does the light symbolize?
진리를 말합니다.
It symbolizes the truth.
어둠을 밝히는 진리입니다.
It is the truth that lights in the darkness.
참 말씀입니다.
It is the true word.
이 말씀으로
And through the word, the people of Korea can unite as one. And through the word,
특히
in particular,
나는
I,
2019년에
in 2019,
오사카에서
in Osaka,
태평양 평화 유니언
I
정서를
suggested
발표했습니다.
the launch of the Asia-Pacific Union.
그 후
Thereafter,
나라들이
many nations
동참한 가운데
are supporting this initiative. In particular, in Cambodia, Samdech Hun Sen is very supportive of this suggestion,
이번에
and this time
역사적인
we are honored to have his participation in this historic rally of hope, and also we are launching the historic Asia Pacific Secretariat, and they have the launching of the Asia Pacific Secretariat of Think Tank 2022. And this is not possible just with human effort. We can see that heaven is working together with us. And heaven's providence is marching towards the perfection, the realization of the providence. And that is why, while true parents are alive on this earth, we need to realize the kingdom of heaven on earth, open wide the gates of the kingdom of heaven on earth at this time. And all the nations around the world participating in this initiative are invited to recognize that heaven's blessings are upon us. And from a long time ago, this propitious time of the realization of the providence is upon us. And I want to recognize all of you as the righteous leaders raised by heaven. True parents in particular and Family Federation had to begin from the humblest of positions because Christianity in Korea did not support us. We did our best, and for the past 60 years, we initiated the True Family Values movement, and we have multiplied blessed families all around the world. With one person taking on this tremendous task, it is not enough time for one person to accomplish this. But if those who received the blessing can also take on this task and fulfill their responsibilities, then unexpected, miraculous things will happen. For example,
아직 이 나라가
this nation
하늘 부모님의 뜻을
still
받드는 정치는 아닙니다.
has not reached the level of maturity in terms of politics where the politics of Korea reflect heaven's will. However, in the name of True Mother, the only begotten daughter,
2013년 이후 7년간
following 2013 for 7 years
7개국 나라를 복귀한 터위에
on the foundation of restoring 7 nations and 7 religious denominations on the position of having accomplished continental restoration,
선포했습니다.
I proclaimed the firm establishment of Cheonilguk. Cheonilguk. This is what heaven has been yearning for. It is what humanity yearns for. Cheonilguk is the nation where we are all one family under the heavenly parent. Today, when we look at
이루 말할 수 없는
all the unspeakable challenges and difficulties happening around the world, we can see many catastrophes and calamities happening. Furthermore, due to human ignorance, many natural cataclysms are happening and many innocent lives are being sacrificed.
더구나
Furthermore, the COVID-19 pandemic
넘게
has been
전
ongoing
세계에
for over a year
하나됨을
and
방해하고 있습니다.
is disrupting the unity among peoples around the world.
이제
From now on,
참부모는 그간 60년간
for the past 60 years,
한국을 출발하여
true parents began humbly in Korea,
미국은
and
특히
in particular,
하늘이
America
재림 메시아의
was raised by heaven
만들기
to be
위한
a foundation for the returning Messiah.
400년간
And for 400 years, God blessed America.
그러나
However,
하늘의 섭리를 확실히 모르는
those who could not understand
많은 문제를
the providence
그때마다
could not fully embrace true parents' work, and many challenges arose. And God's will for America is for America to embrace the world. And because true parents understood the importance of America in God's providence, for 40 years, true parents invested everything so that America could fulfill its mission and fulfill its responsibility before Heavenly Parent as the eldest son nation. For 40 years, true parents have continuously blessed America.
이제
Now,
한반도의 통일은
the prospects of peace on the Korean Peninsula are excellent. It will
이
happen.
한반도로 시작한
Beginning on the Korean Peninsula,
태평양
a new
문명권의 문화는
culture
아시아 대륙을
of the Pacific Rim civilization will expand throughout Asia and
활발히
around the world.
펼쳐 나가고 있습니다.
And this culture of peace is vividly and actively expanding throughout the world.
대서양 문명권 시대와는 달리
And contrary to the era of the great Atlantic civilization, in the era of the Pacific Rim civilization, it will be characterized by interdependence, mutual prosperity, universal values. It will bring together leaders, peace-loving citizens, religious leaders, and peace associates. Peace-loving citizens and leaders are coming together and participating in this initiative.
이 민족에게 바랍니다.
I would like to once again warn this nation of Korea. Please do not look at the shadows. Lift high your gaze and look upon heaven and accept heaven's will. I hope that all of the political leaders of Korea can understand that for Korea to prosper, it needs to recognize heaven's will. This nation cannot be a secular nation that is only focused on human interests. It must become a nation that attends God as the heavenly parent. Not just political leaders, all of the people in this nation must become peace associates and attend God, the heavenly parent, as blessed families. I hope that they can become filial sons and daughters and fulfill their responsibility, becoming blessed families, and also lead the realization of the Pacific civilization of peace to the corners of the world. We must not forget heaven's tireless work. We must be grateful for the great blessings that Korea has received from heaven. Let us attend heaven. Let us march and let us live lives that accord with heaven's will. Let us realize one cosmic family of humanity under the heavenly parent.
Everyone, let us give another round of applause to Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, a true mother, for her precious message. Today, through her special message, we're able again to fully understand and again recognize the need to really bring about the realization of heavenly unified Korea and a heavenly unified world. And once more, everyone, please send again. Let us express our gratitude and resolution to really bring about a heavenly unified world and a heavenly unified Korea with a warm round of applause to Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, everyone. At this time, we'll actually be holding the inauguration ceremony for the Korean Peninsula Peace Summit Organizing Committee, which is being prepared in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, our husband's visit to North Korea, and so as to create a foundation for the realization of heavenly unified Korea. Dr. Thomas Walsh, Chairman of Universal Peace Federation, will preside over this section.
Well, thank you, Dr. Yoon Young Ho. Your Excellencies, distinguished world leaders, ladies and gentlemen, it's my profound honor to preside as your MC during this segment of our program. The keynote addresses have been of the highest order, full of wisdom, insight, and hope for the future. And we especially appreciate the words we've just heard, wisdom and guidance from Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, the founder of UPF, the Rally of Hope series, and Think Tank 2022. Today's Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope and this segment is especially significant in that it bears the fruit of a recent high-level meeting between Samdech Hun Sen and Dr. Yun Young Ho, resulting in 3 very significant points of agreement. First, it was agreed that the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula would be convened later this year, and Samdech Hun Sen would serve as the co-chair of the organizing committee. The summit will involve heads of state and government from throughout Asia and the world, coming together to promote peace and reconciliation on the Korean Peninsula, paving a path toward reunification. Second, it was agreed that the Asia-Pacific Secretariat for Think Tank 2022 would be established in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, in cooperation with the Asian Vision Institute. And third, the MOU affirms that UPF will work in close partnership with the Asian Vision Institute and other international organizations to promote development of the Mekong River region. So let us now witness the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding and the inauguration of the Asia Pacific Secretariat of Think Tank 2022. The MOU is signed by Dr. Yun together with Honorable Kun Sudari and Dr. Sok Sofana. This is a very significant development and represents a substantial expansion of the work of UPF through Think Tank 2022. The support and encouragement of Samdech Han Sen deeply appreciated. The keynote address honoring the signing of the MOU is offered by Vice President of the National Assembly and Chair of the Asian Cultural Council, the Honorable Kun Sudari. Let us now hear from Honorable Sudari.
So now I'd like to request all 3 signatories, so please show the MOU, holding MOU with both hands, so please show in front.
Samdech Akek Mahasenat Badaitecho Hun Sen, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, Honorable Hak Ja Han Moon, co-founder of the Universal Peace Federation. Today is a historic day for the Asian Vision Institute and the Universal Peace Federation and the Think Tank 2022. Thank you for entrusting the Asian Vision Institute, an affiliated think tank of the Asian Cultural Council, to be the Asia Pacific Secretariat of Think Tank 2022. The objective of the formation of the Secretariat is to implement the ideas and action plans of the Think Tank 2022 initiative adopted in April this year at the virtual 6th Rally of Hope for the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. The Think Tank 2022 is a global network of multi-stakeholders who collaborate to provide solutions to critical global challenges, promote interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values of love and peace. To this end, the Asia-Pacific Secretariat has the following tasks. First, provide platform for dialogue and networking. Second, conduct academic and policy research. Third, to promote policy communication and coordination. Fourth, promote capacity building on leadership for peace. And fifth, promote the visibility and impact of the Universal Peace Federation in the region. I firmly believe that the Asia-Pacific Secretariat of Think Tank 2022 will contribute more to regional peace, security, and shared prosperity by connecting people, connecting knowledge, and connecting action. Thank you for your support and cooperation.
So please unveil the banner. Think Tank 2022 Asia Pacific Secretariat, Phnom Penh, Kingdom of Cambodia.
Today's MOU signing is for the launch of the Summit on Peace in the Korean Peninsula and Asia Pacific and world. It is also the launch of Think Tank 2022 Asia Pacific Secretariat. The Summit on Peace in the Korean Peninsula will become the cornerstone for the realization of having a unified Korea and having a unified world.
Let's offer a round of applause for the signing of this historic MOU agreement and the address of Honorable Sudari. Thank you, Dr. Yoon Young Ho, Honorable Sudari, for the inauguration of the Asia Pacific Secretariat of Think Tank 2022. It is now my high honor to introduce to the stage to deliver his keynote address, Samdech Hun Sen, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia. His support for UPF, including the convening of the Asia Pacific Summit in 2019 and his role in the World Summit 2020, as well as with the Rally of Hope, is deeply appreciated. Please welcome Samdech Hun Sen.
Her Excellencies Cha Han Moon, co-founders of Universal Peace Federation, Dr. Thomas Chi Walsh, President of Universal Peace Federation, Excellencies, Madam, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honors and pleasures to deliver remarks at the 7 World Rallies of Hope, Think Tank 2022, under the theme, peace in the Asia Pacific. As a country placing priceless value upon peace, Cambodia highly appreciates the organization of this rally to strengthen the cultures of peace and mutual trust under the framework of international cooperation in the Asia Pacific region. At present, one geopolitical event in the region that has attracted a great deal of international attentions is the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan and the total takeovers of Kabul by the Taliban. This event is a grim and bitter reminder of what happened in Cambodia on April 17, 1975, when the Khmer Rouge took over Phnom Penh, which was marked with utmost grief. Cambodia and the Cambodian people remember the tragedies and are determined to preventing such a similar event from happening again. Clearly, geopolitical landscape in the Asia-Pacific region is fast changing with the global power shift and geopolitical rivalries getting more complex and delicate with utmost dangers. Unfortunately, to some extent, geopolitical fault lines have been redrawn, which could render the tendencies of a typical disruption, that is, small states are being under mounting pressures to choose sides against their will and interest. Learning from the practical experience unfolding from the political development in Afghanistan and elsewhere, we widely understand that peace and nation building can only be achieved by local stakeholders in the conflicting country. Other countries cannot perform the role of those stakeholders in achieving these objectives. In this regard, I would like to emphasize that national ownership is the key to success and sustained peace. In other words, other countries cannot transplant political value and system upon any country, as this foundation needs to be indigenously developed corresponding to the political, economic, and social and cultural context of each individual country. In fact, Cambodia is an example of a model from which others can draw experience. Our full peace has been built from the participation from all relevant parties in the country. I would like to emphasize that in the early 1990s, Cambodia could not achieve full peace even after the international community spent about $2 billion. The war prolonged until December 1998, when Cambodia was able to achieve full peace after the implementation of the win-win policies to find a political solution among ourselves. In this regard, I re-emphasize that we must have national ownership in peace building and nation building in the post-conflict period. Excellencies, Madam, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed proud that Asian Vision Institute, based in Cambodia, has been chosen to serve as the Asia Pacific Secretariat of the Think Tank 2022. I'm of the view that think tanks also have an important role in contributing to crisis resolution and promoting peacekeeping activities through in-depth analysis and cultivation the spirit of exchange of views and dialogue. In addition, think tanks must attach high priorities to realism with the constructive spirit and avoidance of extremism, as well as to promote the principle of mutual understanding and the values of diversities in the study, analysis, policy recommendation in the course of seeking and maintaining peace, particularly ensuring inclusive development for humankind. Excellency, Madam, ladies and gentlemen, Cambodia is truly proud and would express our deep thanks to Madam Chairman, as well as all the leaders who put the trust on myself that would be the co-chair of the summit on peace in Korean Peninsula, and trust that on Cambodia to place the office of the Think Tank 2022 in Phnom Penh. I will touch upon the Korean Peninsula during the upcoming summit. Finally, I wish all the delegates good health and happiness. Also, I wish these 7 rallies of hope a fruitful success. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much indeed, Samdech Hun Sen, for your very encouraging and insightful keynote address, which has been broadcast across the world for millions to hear. Thank you for your support for the mission and work of UPF and Think Tank 2022 and this Rally of Hope. Let's give one more round of applause for Samdech Hun Sen for this remarkable speech and our remarkable partnership. It is now time to present the resolution and declaration for this Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope. The Think Tank 2022 resolution and declaration was affirmed by 36 representatives of UPF's primary associations, ISCP, IAPP, IAPD, IAED, IMAP, IAAP, and IAACP. As co-chair of the organizing committee for the summit, Samdech Hun Sen and representing the 2022 experts of Think Tank 2022, Dr. Yoon Young Ho and Samdech Hun Sen will take a photo together. This resolution and declaration has been fully endorsed by His Excellency Samdech Hun Sen. And now, at this time, we will offer to Samdech Hun Sen a special medal of appreciation on behalf of the founder, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon. Dr. Yoon will now present the medal. It is a beautiful gold medal, a medal uniquely crafted in honor of the summit and Samdech Hun Sen for his role with the summit on peace on the Korean Peninsula. And now, Samdech Hun Sen in Cambodia, in the Prime Minister's office, receives it, marking his acceptance of the role of co-chair of the organizing committee for the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula. The medal is presented to Samdech Hun Sen by His Excellency Sru Siara, Director of the Asian Cultural Council. Now let us take a photo together with Dr. Yoon Young Ho and Samdech Hun Sen to mark this very special, wonderful occasion and this wonderful moment, giving a warm round of applause. The resolution and declaration has been received and affirmed by leaders across the world, including current and former heads of state, past speakers from the Rally of Hope series, and keynote speakers from the World Summit 2020, as well as VIP leaders of all of UPF's associations and the experts associated with Think Tank 2022. The resolution and declaration for reunification of the Korean Peninsula, prepared for Think Tank 2022 Rally of Hope, affirms the convening of the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula, which will include heads of state and government from around the world and VIP leaders from all UPF associations. The resolution and declaration affirms the inauguration of the Asia Pacific Secretariat for Think Tank 2022 to be based in Cambodia in cooperation with the Asian Vision Institute. And the resolution and declaration affirms that Samdech Hun Sen will serve as co-chair of the organizing committee for the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula. It is noted also that Honorable Egnat Dekal will serve as special envoy of the organizing committee for the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula. Now, representing the 2022 experts of Think Tank 2022 and all the peace-loving citizens who support peace on the Korean Peninsula, Dr. Yoon Young Ho, together with Mrs. Wanju McDivitt, will now offer the resolution to the founder, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon. Dr. Yoon Young Ho, Mrs. McDivitt, please offer the resolution to our beloved Mother Moon, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, founder of UPF, the Rally of Hope, Think Tank 2022, let us take a historic photo together. A warm round of applause. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, in further preparation for the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula, UPF's founder, Dr. Hak Ja Han Moon, has inaugurated a special civilian committee to support and promote the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula. Dr. Moon will now present the badge of appointment to the Citizens Committee to Dr. Yoon Young Ho and Ms. Wanju McDivitt. They stand as representatives of the Civilian Committee to support the Summit on Peace on the Korean Peninsula. This Civilian Committee will be 1 million strong, made up of citizen activists dedicated to peace on the Korean Peninsula. Thank you very much, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. Let's give a warm round of applause. And now I'd like to turn the program back over to the most capable hands of Dr. Yoon Young Ho for the sounding of the gong and the finale of our program. Dr. Yoon Young Ho.
Thank you, Dr. Rory 씨. 네, 감사합니다. 이제 한반도 평화 서밋을 위한 조직위원회 출범의 하이라이트, 전 세계 6기둥의 36명과 그리고 캄보디아 훈센 수상까지 함께하는 조직위원회 명단이 참어머님께 봉정되었습니다. 이제 참어머님을 모시고 저희들이 신통일 한국을 위한 한반도 평화 서밋 조직위원회 출정에 타징을 하시도록 하겠습니다. 사회자 구령에 맞춰 한국어로 다 함께 하나, 둘, 셋 하라고 외쳐주시면 한학자 총재님 참어머님께서 타징을 해주시도록 하겠습니다. 준비되셨습니까? 모두 자리에서 일어나시도록 하겠습니다. 준비되셨습니까?
Are you ready, everyone?
준비와 느낌하시다 되시옵까?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? 하나, 둘, 셋! 참으로 역사적인 순간입니다. 남과 북이 함께하고 남과 북이 공동 수교맺은 157개 나라의 정상들이 함께하는 역사적인 한반도 평화 서밋을 위한 깃발이 올랐습니다. 대립과 갈등이 아닌 화합과 상생, 공생, 공영, 공의가 숨쉬는 한반도, 신통일 한국, 오늘 이 출정식을 통해 본격적으로 깃발 올린 한반도 평화 서밋이 반드시 실현되어 한반도의 평화는 물론 신아시아 태평양 문명권 안착, 나아가 신통일 세계로 결실되기를 간절히 기도합니다. 그러한 염원을 담아 한학자 총재님, 통일의 어머니를 모시고 우리 다 함께 우리의 소원은 통일을 부르시도록 하겠습니다. 여러분 특별히 이 자리에는 오늘 역사적인 한반도 평화 서밋 조직위원회
to commemorate the
출범식을
inauguration of the Summit for Peace on the Korean Peninsula Organizing Committee today, actually the Global Peace Road team has completed in 194 countries its journey for the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula and a heavenly unified Korea. They actually draw together hopes and prayers of people across the world who, beyond their own nation, religion, culture, or race, aspire for the peaceful reunification of the Koreas. Everyone, please welcome the Peace Road team. Peace Road, which was initiated by Dr. Hak Cha Han Moon in 2013, has established itself as a festival of peace, bringing together people from around the world. Despite the challenges of the pandemic this year, we have followed each country's quarantine guidelines and worked together with sweat and tears for the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. And today, that sweat and devotion has led to the inauguration of the Summit for Peace on the Korean Peninsula Organizing Committee, and we have joined together in a great leap forward toward new fruits and results. Let's give one more round of applause again to the Peace Road team for completing their journey. And
the riders of Peace Road are bringing together their flowers and their wishes for peace on the Korean Peninsula. And at this moment, we would like to express profound and special thanks to Samdek Hun Sen for his participation, his support. It was a great honor and blessing to be able to invite him to participate in this rally of hope. And also, as we wish for peace on the Korean Peninsula, we are truly honored that Samdek Hun Sen is supporting this initiative. Once again, on behalf of Dr. Hak Cha Han Moon, the organizing committee, and everyone who loves peace and wishes for peace on the Korean Peninsula, we would like to offer profound thanks to Samdek Hun Sen. Beloved peace-loving citizens from around the world, today we are now coming to the conclusion of this program. It has been our honor to host Samdek Hun Sen today. If we dream alone, it might not be a dream, it might remain a dream, but if we dream together, then we can make it a reality. Centering on the Mother of Unification and Mother of Peace, Dr. Hak Cha Han Moon, we are now dreaming about peace on the Korean Peninsula, and we can see that it is becoming a reality. Through this historic rally of hope, we are really finding hope for the future. Let us give another round of applause to Dr. Hak Cha Han Moon, the host of today's event, all the dignitaries participating, and also His Excellency Samdek Hun Sen. This concludes all of the program for today. Once again, let us end today's program with a warm round of applause. Thank you for your participation and have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, tech team. Thank you.